Hello, my name is Cheng. I'm the violinist here. I would like to briefly talk about a little bit of the difference between the modern violin and the Baroque violin that I'm playing. I don't know if anyone already noticed the difference of the sound. So what I have here, it's a hybrid violin. I don't really use the Baroque violin setup, but I try to use most of the Baroque setup over here. For the real Baroque violin, it will have much shorter fingerboard, and also then the neck of the violin is going to be thicker, because at that time all the composition that they composed, it didn't require the player to go up higher positions. So the shape of the neck and the fingerboard is going to be different. But as my two friends, they also introduced their instruments, why we are playing those early music with these early instruments. The reason why is because, like, musicians ourselves and also lots of musicians out there, we try to replicate the condition, the instrumental condition that they had at that time. So we will have a better understanding why they compose their music this way. The music that we just play or we're about to play can easily be played by modern instruments. But when we play the early instruments, it brings out a very different color, and that just given us a better understanding of why they're doing this. And we wanted to try that authentic instrumental conditions back then. So I would like to briefly talk about this very quick. I would like to talk about the strings first. The strings are very different. The modern instruments, the modern violins that we are playing, is the strings with the metal outer winding. The reason why they developed that kind of modern strings is because the hole is getting bigger compared to 17th century that they had. So they need the sound to project much further, and the sound has to be more direct. So that's why they start to develop that. The string that I have here is the gut string. You can see the color of the string is very like spaghetti-like. That's because we don't have the metal out there. And the sound just gives us a much more complex sound in a way, and it's more organic sound. So for this kind of strings, it won't be able to project in the like Carnegie Hall or something. It can only be playing in a smaller venue like this. This is a great one, and the reason why is because back then they used to only play their instrument for fun and for family occasions or something, or for rich people. So they don't require to have that kind of sound projections over there. Okay, and as you can see, the strings just takes much longer to settle down. Compared to the modern strings. So, and also the string is much easier to get out of tune. So that's why we have to tune occasionally during the concert. The other thing I would like to talk about, oh, by the way, yeah, the strings, the reason why we call gut strings is because it made it with the gut, like real gut. It came from the sheep, ox, or the beef gut. So this is very organic. Yeah. Okay. The next thing I would like to talk about, very like easily to see, is the setup. As you can see, I don't play with the chin rest. We used to have a chin rest and the shoulder rest over here. I don't really play it, but I still put the sponge here just to feel more comfortable with my collarbone over here. The reason why is because they don't used to really play above the shoulder. Sometimes they put an instrument here, they can even play over here. They just have fun and having, I don't know if they're appropriate, but they're drinking. So they're really having fun, so it can be a different sort of like positions that they're playing, so much more freedom. It doesn't need to be only on the shoulder. And also, the music that they're playing, it's only mainly focused on over like in the lower positions. They don't require to have that stability to go up here. Yeah, if that makes sense. The very last thing I would like to talk about is the bow. I don't know if you can see it. The bow has a very interesting shape compared to the modern bow. The bow stick itself is straightforward compared to the modern bow that we have that has a very beautiful concave in the middle and it's much longer compared to the early bow. The reason why is because, again, the way how they composed, at the 17th century, all the phrasing and notes are much shorter, and then they were looking for more like human speaking sound. So they want the articulations to be short and clear, because we don't really say the one sentence like this and it just gonna keep going up. I'm impressed myself. After this, after 17th century, we go to, they went to 18th, 19th century, the phrasing started to get much longer. And as you can see, the orchestration, the instrument orchestration size is getting much bigger. So there requires the sound to sustain. That's why they developed the bow much longer and has that beautiful concave so they can sustain the sound. Compared to this, the bow hair and the bow stick just has more bouncy feeling over here. So that's why we can play more like articulate. It's much easier to do that compared to the modern bow. Anything else I'm missing? I think that would be all the big stuff that I would like to introduce, and then just to show you the difference between the moderns and early instruments. Thank you. So the next piece will be a duet between the flute and the violin. Basically, we're playing canon, so we're playing the same part, but the flute will come in one bar later. So basically, we're chasing each other, but it's really fun. Hopefully, you enjoyed it. Thank you.